In this video, we're going to take a look at equivalent fractions, decimals, and percents. Our three objectives: express a fraction as a percent, express a decimal as a percent, and express a percent as a decimal. All right, as usual, let's come in and discuss some things we already know. So we know what a proportion is. A proportion is a mathematical statement or a mathematical equation that says two ratios or two fractions are equal. And we know that if two fractions form a proportion, in other words, if two ratios or fractions are equal, then their cross products are equal, and that can be used to solve problems. The second thing we know is what percent means. It is a ratio or it's a fraction out of 100. In other words, you have a 100 in the denominator. That percent sign indicates the out of 100. So either write over 100 or you write it with the percent sign, which also means over 100 or out of 100. So let's go with objective 1 here, fraction to percent. I'll detail two ways here. The first way is to set up and solve a proportion. And this proportion we'll see in the next video lecture is called the percent proportion. So example 1, express 5/8 as a percent. Okay, well 5 out of 8, well percent is out of 100. So we're going to set up a proportion that has 100 in the denominator. And we're going to put an X in the percent because we don't know what the percent is. And we're going to solve this proportion. And as we know, if we have a proportion, the cross products are equal. So 8x is equal to 500. We can divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. And the percent in this case is 62.5%. 500 divided by 8 is 62.5%. Okay, so you can also, again, the percent sign replaces the over 100. Here is the same number written with a denominator of 100. 62.5 over 100 is the same thing as 62.5%. The other method that's commonly used is to divide and multiply the quotient by 100. So example 2. Express 3/4 as a percent. Okay, well 3/4 is the same as 3 divided by 4. 3 divided by 4 with the calculator is 0.75, or perhaps you knew that in your head. We multiply that by 100 and we come up with 75%. So 3/4 as a percent is 75%. Okay, let's do objective 2 here, and let's express a decimal as a percent. Let me turn my paper over and straighten out my workplace here. Okay, express a decimal as a percent. There are a number of ways to do this. I'm going to keep it on the simpler side and simply say that the easiest to do this is to multiply that decimal number by 100. Okay, what that results in is moving the decimal 2 places to the right. When you're multiplying by 100, you're getting larger, and moving the decimal to the right makes a number larger. 1 decimal makes it 10 times larger. 2 decimal moves makes it 100 times larger. So let's just see it with these 3 quick examples. Okay, express 47 hundredths as a percent. Okay, so we're simply going to multiply the decimal times 100. It'll get 100 times larger. The decimal moves 1 to get 10 times larger, a second time to get 100 times larger, and you'll come up with 47%. Example 4 here, let's express, this looks like 86 ten-thousandths as a percent. Okay, so again, when you have a decimal and you want to change it to a percent, the easiest thing to do is to multiply it by 100. It's the same thing as moving the decimal 2 places, 1, 2. So this percent is a very small percent. It is 0.86%. And finally, number 5, express 2.015 as a percent. Well, we know that the number 1 as a percent is 100%. So the number 2 as a percent is obviously greater than 100%. It's actually 200%. So let's do this by multiplying it by 100. 2.015 times 100. Make this number 100 times larger is the same as moving the decimal 2 places. And so this percent is 201.5%. Okay? So that's probably the easiest way to change a decimal to its equivalent percent. Last but not least, let us go from percent to decimal. And this is commonly done as follows. The percent sign can be replaced with a 100 denominator, and then you just divide. Now what that does, because you're dividing by 100, is you're creating a smaller number. And so it results in moving the decimal to the left, because that makes a smaller number. And because it is 100, it moves it 2 places to the left. So example 6, what is 67% as a decimal? Okay, 67%. We'll replace that percent sign with a 100 denominator, and you have 67 hundredths. And of course, that's the same thing as 67 divided by 100, and 67 divided by 100. Well, the decimal's right here after the 7. We don't have to write it. We know it's there, and we just move it 2 places to the left, and we're going to have 0.067. So 67% as a decimal is 0.67. Move the decimal 2 places to the left. So there you have it, fractions, decimals, and percents. In our next video, we're going to look at the percent proportion.